Hello everyone, this is Kaizouwar here, and I want to talk about BlazBlue Central Fiction and the characters that actually came out new for the game. Now, I thought back in the day, man, these characters are so hype. You know, it's nice to see characters like Nine, Izanami, S get in, stuff like that. And I want to talk about like how every character was like to me at the time and how they are like to me to this very day. You know, whether I believe they were a good choice or not, or whether I believe, you know, their music was good, stuff like that. You know, I just wanted to talk about the characters for a little bit. So. There were 8 characters introduced for BlazBlue Central Fiction to be playable, so I'm going to talk about all 8 of them just to get them out of the way. So without further ado, let's begin with this video. Now, seeing Hibiki was a weird idea to me at first. Now, I never thought that someone like Hibiki would have never got in. I mean, yeah, I could have seen that one coming, considering the fact that, you know, he had a unique character portrait in BlazBlue's Chrono Phantasma. So I kind of suspected that he could have been playable some form, but I was never expecting, you know, Hibiki of all people, right? So, you know, when he was introduced for BlazBlue Central Fiction, it didn't shock me too much. But at the same time, I was like, oh my god, it's Hibiki. Now, we didn't know much about Hibiki other than the fact that he was, you know, working with Kagura. He's like, you know, like just really working with Kagura. You know, he's a pretty chill dude. And we didn't know much about him outside of the whole Central Fiction deal because, you know, he was only in the story mode. But it was nice to see him as a playable character. It was nice to see him here. And while I'm saddened that, you know, his story, his whole story arcade path was kind of considered non-canon in a way and didn't make it into the actual story mode Central Fiction, it's like saying you get to do nothing with him in regards to the story. I'm glad he's at least here, you know. He plays well. I really enjoy how he plays because he feels like someone I would play as if I didn't, you know, didn't main Ragna. But yeah, I really do like Hibiki. I don't really think too much of him as time goes by. Yeah, he's a cool character, but I wish he had more to do. You know, I really wish he had more character to him because, like, you know, every character in BlazBlue has like a lot to them. You know, there's like a lot of things that you can really think about when you look at these characters. Even someone with, like, you know, with less story significance, like, for example, like someone like Azrael. At least, like, Azrael, you could definitely see him shine through a lot. You could definitely see more of him. You know, even if he isn't the most plot important character ever, you can see a lot with Azrael. But Hibiki doesn't get to see. I don't get to see much with him. That kind of sucks. If only Hibiki had more story significance, and then maybe things would be a lot different. And most of his story significance in other media is like like, you know, like light novels. So that kind of sucks as well. Like, not much, you know, they don't do much with him in regards to the story of the light novels. He like shows up, you know, for like a cameo or two. But, you know, I'm happy that Hibiki's here at least. You know, I'm happy that he's here at least. In the Showers is actually a pretty good song. Him just literally looking like Levi Ackerman is also a bonus because, you know, people love Levi, and of course. And plus, Hibiki was popular enough to make it on the popularity poll in the top 10s. So, you know, that has to say something, you know. Now, when Naoto was introduced, I didn't know much at all about BlazBlue Blue experience. I didn't know shit, obviously, because it wasn't released in English, and it never will be released in English. Let's just be real about that. But seeing Naoto here, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool that he's here. I like the fact that he was here, because with Naoto getting here, it kind of reinforced the fact that they're bringing more characters from other media. Now, Oddball did that before with Celica, because she was first introduced in the BlazBlue Phase Shift light novels, so that's pretty cool. But seeing Naoto here from Blood Experience gave me faith that they were going to bring in other BlazBlue characters from different media, like X-Blaze or Remix Heart, you know, stuff like that at the time. So seeing Naoto here was pretty cool. Seeing here with his redesign was actually pretty cool. Seeing how he interacted with other characters in the story mode, how he was just kind of like, you know, a fish out of water. He was really confused with the concepts of BlazBlue. Is actually pretty funny to me. That's one thing I like about Naoto is that, like, he feels so natural. He feels like a realistic person, despite, you know, everyone wants to make a joke that he's like call him a generic, boring character. I don't really think Naoto is generic at all. You know, he feels pretty human when I really think about it. You know, like, he feels like a more human character than most other characters do in BlazBlue. He just feels so naturally integrated in the BlazBlue, and at the same time feels so far off from everyone else, you know. And that's what like makes him shine for me, in my personal opinion. I'm glad he's here. They gave him a kick-ass song in the form of Jaeger. He's just a fun character to play as, even if, you know, the whole arthritis memes still exist. And I just like having Naoto here. He's a great addition, and seeing how, you know, he's evolved over time, you know, how he's, you know, fit more naturally in the BlazBlue feels right, you know, because, like, I remember when people saw him first coming out, a lot of people weren't a fan of him, you know. Now, I don't know what general consensus of Naoto is these days, but when I talk to people about him, they've seemed very positive on the character. So he has his fans. You know, he really does have his fans. I really like the guy. You know, I really do like him. So I'm glad he's here. Happy that he's a playable character. Happy that, you know, we get more of his story and a little bit. You know, we don't get much of the BlazBlue experience story. You have to actually read it and understand what his character's about to get full grasp of what he is. But I think they do a good job for him for what he is in Central Fiction. Seeing 9 playable was a weird experience for me. I mean, I knew she was going to be playable. It was kind of obvious that they were going to make her playable some form or another, but it's a matter of when. Now, I was expecting Chrono Phantasma, even from the earliest, you know, Continuum shift. I figured they were either going to make her playable in Chrono Phantasma or when Extend came out. And when she wasn't playable then, I was like, oh, okay, then maybe Central Fiction, maybe? And then, you know, they released her. It's like, okay, awesome, thank God. We finally get to have 9 here. We got another member of the 6 heroes. Perfect, we need that. All we needed was Jubei at the time, and Trinity, which, you know, we got Jubei, never got Trinity, though. And they count Platinum and Trinity as, like, Trinity, which I want real Trinity. But anyway, moving on to 9. I knew 9 was going to be playable. Just when. And I'm glad she was playable in Central Fiction. I kind of, you know, back in the day, I kind of wish she was going to get playable as, like, the Phantom design, you know, the one that we see the most in this little portrait here in the story mode. I was kind of expecting that one to be playable, though I don't know how that was going to, you know, how that was going to work. I don't know how they were going to, you know, make her work. I do like that little scarf she has. Let me just go on a tangent about that. I like that little scarf she has. I kind of wish she kept it in her Phantom design, 9 the Phantom design, but, you know, that's in the past. But anyway, but yeah, 9 getting playable was pretty cool. I was never looking forward to playing her. I just really wanted her in there, and they gave her really one of the most badass BlazBlue designs, like, ever. You know, it really made her stand out. She looks super cool, super edgy, super evil. Love it. One of the best designs that come out of BlazBlue ever. She has Walpurgis Knock, literally one of the best character themes ever. Literally, the song, I played Walpurgis Knock to death when it was first released in the arcades, when, you know, we had to rip recordings for the arcade mode. Like, it was such, like, when Act 1 was out, when we had to rip, like, the character themes for the arcade mode, I was like, oh my god. I played that song, I played that low quality freaking rip to death. I loved that song. I loved it. It was so awesome. And it was just nice seeing her here. It's nice seeing her here. It's nice seeing, you know, how her story was going to evolve from, you know, being Cosmo, Terumi, Relius, Izanami, whatever, until being her own character and doing her own things, you know, because, like, I remember, like, when she was first, like, introduced, like, oh man, she's gonna be, like, one of the main antagonists. I already believed that Nan was gonna be, like, the final villain, but, you know, that obviously didn't happen, and then, you know, Izanami got released later, so. Well, Izanami was teaming up to be, like, the final boss, but, like, I figured, like, Izanami was gonna be, like, you know, the final showdown. That's my first, you know, hint when, like, that's what I thought back when Act 1 came out, but, like, you know, no, but still, love the fact that 9's here, love, you know, her story significance, badass character theme, badass Japanese voice actress. Actually, Ayumi Fujimura was actually one of my favorite Japanese voice actors in BlazBlue. So yeah, 9 being here, freaking awesome. So yeah, seeing Izanami playable in Central Fiction wasn't exactly a big surprise to me. I remember just wondering when she was going to be playable, you know, because, like, obviously when they made her, like, you know, the big bad of Chrono Phantasma, I was wondering, okay, what are they going to do with Izanami? You know, when are they going to make her playable? I just kept thinking that whenever they release an extended version of Chrono Phantasma, yeah, but nah, we only got Celica and Lambda. So, you know, no big deal. We'll just wait till the next game, you know, because obviously they left on a cliffhanger. We were definitely going to see what's going to happen in the next game. So when Central Fiction came out and she was announced to be playable in Act 2, I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be freaking awesome. And you see Izanami back in, near the end of Continuum Shift and throughout Chrono Phantasma, she's like calm, stoic, that better than you attitude, and, you know, all that kind of junk. But then you see her in Central Fiction, you see this more unhinged side of her. I guess I can't really call it unhinged, more like unnatural. You know, you see all these unnatural movements she makes. You see how, like, freaking she can literally, like, dive at you, just, like, drag you across the ground, throw you in the air. Freaking whole skull faces and shit, skull-related moves, just literally dragging you down to the depths of darkness. Literally, whatever her exceeded cell is, where she just I guess, bites you. I don't know what that is. But yeah, you see this like lot crueler side to her, this more dark, evil side to her. You realize, like, oh yeah, Izanami's not meant to be, messed with. You see her like, in Chrono Phantasm, like, yeah, she can control Takemi Kazuchi like a laser, but what can she do? Like, I figured like she's gonna be boss as shit when she becomes playable, and I was right. She was like insanely cool when she's was first released. I think she still has one of the best Astro Heats in the game. I still believe she has like one of the some of the coolest moves like in the game. Like, she just looks cool as shit. Her moves are just diabolical. And I'm really glad that she's got playable. Plus, the story significance and lore attached to her made her way more interesting than she ever was in near the end continuum shift and throughout Chrono Phantasm. Like, I personally believe that Izanami was personally very boring in Chrono Phantasm, but like when Central Fiction came out and we learned her backstory, her origins, you gave me a different angle to the character, and I really do like having her here, and seeing her downfall, how she screams out for Ragna and everything like that, just to see how, her being broken down like this is actually, pretty cathartic. After being so high and mighty the whole game, just seeing her like lose was actually pretty satisfying. But yeah, I like Izanami. Yomoto Hirosaka is badass shit. Again, Central Fiction brought the best soundtracks. Okay, let me just say that right now. Central Fiction brought the best OST in BlazBlue. Just saying. And Yomoto Hirosaka and The World End and Bloodline, which is her versus theme between her, Ragna, and Jin. All the things attached to her are just amazing. The Daisuke hit at the park when making music for Central Fiction, and especially in the case of Izanami. Now, Susanoo was leaked before Central Fiction even came out. Obviously, people got early Japanese and Hong Kong related copies. A lot of people actually got the Hong Kong copies because the Hong Kong version had the English text in them. So a lot of people got those and leaked Susanoo online, because I remember this old ass picture where Susanoo was with S in the training mode. So someone leaked that way early. I was like, oh my god, this is freaking awesome. Who is Susanoo? Like, what happened to freaking Hakumen? But then I remember, like, oh yeah, I forgot. I remember that Terry said before that he originally had the Susanoo unit, and then obviously he called out a chant and continued shit like, oh, in the name of Susanoo, and Mu at one point calls him the Black Susanoo. Noel calls him the Susanoo at one point, and like way early, like in a Calamity Trigger. So yeah, it was hinted that Terumi was, Susanoo, and they obviously kind of dropped that, like not dropped that, they kind of just laid it on thick in Chrono Phantasma. But I never thought that this was going to come into play at all. You know what I mean? I just thought like, oh yeah, Terumi was, had the unit at one point. Cool. Terumi did a lot of things at one point. I mean, he was the goddamn creator of the NOL in Sector 7. So, he did a lot of things. I just wasn't expecting the actual Susanoo to come out. And like all that foreshadowing, hinting, all this point was actually a really cool way of getting that. Granted, when Terumi gets Susanoo, a Susanoo unit and becomes Susanoo, we don't get much of him in the story mode, because, he doesn't really get to do much. Once he gets to the unit, he grabs Noel and just, gets the hell out and tries, go to the gate. So, we got that there, and, after Ragna and Jin and Trinity get there, they beat him, stuff like that. But it's nice to see that we have him here, It's nice to see that now he's become a giant meme, which is really funny to me. Like Susanoo becoming a big meme will never not be funny to me. Must Die became an instant classic. Just the amount of people just enjoyed it and started memeing the shit out of it. I mean, just the guy's insane. Like, I love Susanoo here. And I'm glad he got a lot more to do in cross tag battle as well. We finally get to see more of him than we couldn't see in Central Fiction. So it's nice to see that. We actually have an English voice for him. Ray Chase does a great job at being Susanoo, let me just say that. But yeah, just seeing him here is actually pretty cool. Plus, he has very great theme songs. As I mentioned before, Must Die was pretty great. He has a versus theme with Hakumen known as God of War, which is... Love that song too. Also, it wasn't fun fact, it wasn't composed by Daisuke Ishiwatari. It was actually composed by one of the BlazBlue and Guilty Gear Rangers known as Norichika Sato. And it was nice that he has a versus theme with Hakumen, despite the fact that it's literally impossible for them two to ever fight at all. I just like they just gave them a versus theme because just why not? I like that. Just why not? And he also has Hakai Shin, which is the final boss theme for BlazBlue Central Fiction. and just the final boss theme between Ragna and Susanoo in the story mode, which I really like. Really damn good song as well. So yeah, Susanoo here, a great addition. Granted, I wish he could have done more in Central Fiction story mode, but he's here, and I'm glad that he is. Now, with Naoto Kurogane getting into BlazBlue Central Fiction as a playable character, as I mentioned before, it gave me hope that other BlazBlue characters from different media would make it in as well, and that came to a head when S from X-Blaze was announced as a DLC character, and she was also made free for the first, I think, 2 weeks the game came out. So seeing S here was actually pretty cool. I waited for her launch. I was like, man, dude, it's gonna be so freaking awesome seeing S here as a playable character. That's freaking cool. Now, that was at a time where I didn't think too much about X-Blaze. I think it's once S came out that I gave X-Blaze a second chance, because yeah, I did own Code Embryo on Lost Memories at the time, but I never really got anywhere with them. I just was not interested in X-Blaze at the time. And when S was released as a playable character, I was like, you know what, might as well, because, obviously all her story is in X-Blaze, so I kind of had to read it and to understand what she's all about, just to remember what she's all about. And, seeing how S developed as a character in X-Blaze was actually pretty good. It was pretty well done. And, granted, we don't get to see much of that because, I mean, this is S in BlazBlue. She doesn't really get all her characterization from X-Blaze. It's kind of like I guess a soft reboot of the character, if that makes any kind of sense, I guess that sounds like a soft reboot of the character. So, we don't got, if you really want to know S as as S, the character, you have to play X-Blaze to understand her. So, I guess in a way, that's kind of okay to not invalidate X-Blaze while putting S in there, just to give fans, longtime BlazBlue fans a treat, having S playable. Because I saw her coming a mile away. It's just like, yeah, she's going to make it in, or someone from X-Blaze is going to make it in. I thought Toya was going to make it in at first, but knowing S was like, yeah, of course S was going to do it. I mean, look at her. She's like, it's S, of course. And it's nice that they lay it on thick with the whole, Artoria Pendragon references from Fate, which love it, of course. So love that. So yeah, it was nice to see S being playable. It was nice to hear her theme song, Conciliation, which was also not composed by Daisuke Shiratori. It was actually composed by the composer of X-Blaze, Kikuro. So that also makes her theme really unique compared to everyone else's, because it's also not a Daisuke theme. Before she was released, I was actually wondering, like, oh my god, what is going to be her theme song? How is Daisuke going to make an S theme song? And I was like, oh, he didn't. He was going to make the X-Blaze composer was going to do it. So that's pretty cool. She also has a versus theme between Suka and 9 in the form of Engazer, which is the opening theme for X-Blaze Lost Memories. Now, it bums me out that she doesn't really have any interactions with Suka or 9, considering the fact that their relationship was a big thing in Lost Memories. It's sad, and I really wish they could have, laid on thick with that, have at least some references. Hell, they even go there and cross-tag battle, which I'm like, why? I guess they're kind of playing on like, yeah, maybe it's a different version of S9 and Sokka, so I guess it's not a big deal, but like, I really wish they could at least referenced it, like, it's kind of sad, but whatever, it's no big deal. At least they gave them the first thing. At least we hear Engazer, even though it's not a copyright friendly song, I'll admit that, but S here, pretty fun. She's a fun character to play as. Hearing her interaction with some characters is actually pretty interesting, because we get to learn more about, X-Blaze and the world of BlazBlue through her as well. So, love that S is here. Happy that she is. And it was pretty hyped to see her here as well. And now we are at Mai Natsume. Now, I will be honest with you. I was never the biggest fan of Remix Heart and Variable Heart, especially Remix Heart. Remix Heart, I personally believe, is still boring. The manga is pretty dull in all things considered, and Variable Heart does get better. Variable Heart does get better. Mori is actually writing for Variable Heart, so there's a lot more important BlazBlue stuff going on rather than Remix Heart, where it's just like kind of meandering random shit that Mori didn't do Remix Heart. He didn't write for it. So yeah, you can definitely see that. But anyway, Mai here, I was like, I was kind of mixed on. At one hand, I did want her playable, but on the other hand, I was like, do I really? And at the same time, I was like, maybe they'll do something cool with her. Yes, the Kukulin freaking references from Fate. Again, Mori loves his Fate. That was awesome. I always love references. Fate references are always cool in any sort of media. So, Mai being essentially Kukulin was actually pretty cool. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm still mixed. I mean, I'm happy she's playable, but I'm mixed on the character herself. I don't hate Mai at all. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't hate Mai at all. I just don't find her as interesting as the other BlazBlue characters. But her being playable did give her some brownie points. Now, obviously, she was going to play, be a playable character because they did give her a little remix heart episode in Crawford Tasman Stand. So yeah, she was going to be playable anyway. I feel like they wouldn't have put that much effort to give her own little side mode in that game if they weren't going to make her playable, in the future. I thought she was going to be playable, Crawford Tasman Stand, but again, they just come in later, Central Fiction. So yeah, I knew she was going to be playable, just a matter of when. And I'm happy she is. Definitely happy she is. I'm still mixed on her as a character. I probably will never get over that, maybe. Again, I like Mai. It's just she's not my favorite character, but I'm happy to see her here. And I would rather see her playable than not at all. And I do like seeing her interactions with her friends. I do like, the story, granted, she's not that important in BlazBlue's Central Fiction story mode, and I kind of wish she was. I kind of wish she fought alongside her friends, maybe do some big threat or whatever. It could have been something simple, but it would have been a nice way to, have them all together for once, because the Remix Heart crew never really fought together. I mean, they have in, like, Remix Heart, but they didn't really, like, band it together and fight together, and I kind of would love that in the story mode. Maybe they could have fought like something, I don't know. They could have fought something in the story mode. I don't know what it was, but I really feel like they could have put, Mai, have her do more, granted she was a DLC character, so I guess putting a lot of stock in her as a big plot important character wasn't going to happen, so I can understand that. But still, I'm happy to see her here. I'd rather have her here than not at all. And Variable Heart is a damn good song. Love it too, because I think I'm going to say that for every song in Central Fiction, like every BlazBlue song, because of course every BlazBlue song is good. So yeah, thanks Mai for being here. Honestly, if there was one thing I could change about Mai, I would just let her wear her red cape all the time. Like, honestly, the red cape looks so good with the outfit. I just feel like I would just like her outfit more if she just wore the red cape during battle. I know why, but like, I'm just saying I would just prefer that more than her base outfit. Just saying. That's just my opinion. And last but not least, we have the long-awaited Chad himself, known as Jubei. Jubei has been a requested character ever since the very beginning of BlazBlue. It's kind of funny that they would wait this long to make him playable. He's been wanted for so long, it's become a meme. Every year went by ever since Exclamation Trigger has been released, and Jubei has never been playable ever since then. And I'm wondering, when is this guy going to be playable? Are they not going to make him playable? Do they know? And like, yeah, I think at one point Mori did make a comment that his sprite would have been maybe too small. I don't know. I can't remember if that was a real thing or not. I can't remember. It's been so long. I do not remember those old BlazBlue interviews. But it's nice to see him here. I'm happy to see him here. I'm just happy to see him. And granted, I don't play as much as Jubei, but I'm just like, the fact that he exists as a playable character, like, they made a really big deal out of it, and I'm glad they did, because Jubei has been like the one character people wanted this whole damn time. Okay, it's been like, when Essential, like, a Claiming Trigger came out, well, in arcades in 2008, but officially console was 2009, right? Central Fiction came out in 2016. Like all those years, like 2016 to 2009, like 7 years, man, 7 damn years. And on top of that, then he got released as Cross-Type Battle as a DLC character, which is funny. Like, Jubei will be forever a DLC character, which I find funny. But still, like, it's like, if you were to end off on one character, I feel like it would have been Jubei, and I'm glad they made a big deal out of him. I'm glad they gave him his own little trailer for at the end of Central Fiction, and that led into the Cross-Tag Battle trailer, that blew everyone's minds. It was a good day, honestly. It was a good day at EVO. It was a really good day. Not only we got Cross-Tag Battle, but we got Jubei released as the final DLC character for Central Fiction. Would I would have loved more DLC characters and more characters to come to Central Fiction? Hell yeah. I would have loved Kajun to be playable. I would have loved Trinity to be playable. But I feel like Jubei was a long time coming. He needed to be playable, or otherwise, me, Mori, and ARCSYS were going to have a problem. I feel like a bunch of people are going to have a problem with that. And granted, I don't play as Jubei. I don't know too many people who play as Jubei. I don't play online as much as I used to. But he's here. and I'm happy that he is. I don't know what else to say other than the fact that I'm just glad he's here. And you know, yeah, he has a cool ass stage, a really interesting moveset. I can't really say it's my favorite, but he's a very interesting moveset, pretty badass, and stand unrivaled. Really good song, very fitting for Jubei. Just the Catman's here. The Catman is here. It's been too long, man. It's just been too long. You know, it's like that whole thing where people want Kokonoe to be playable. You know, and they wonder like, man, when's Kokonoe gonna be playable? She's still not playable. And then when she came out in Chrono Phantasm, she lived one of the most broken characters in all fighting games. Oh man, the past was crazy. But yeah, Jubei being playable, love the guy, glad he's here. Great. And that marks the end of the video. Everyone, please tell me down in the comments below what you thought about the characters that they were coming out for BlazBlue Central Fiction, or tell me what your thoughts are on these new characters. You know, if you follow Central Fictions always, you know, from its beginning to its release, you know, tell me what you enjoyed about that or what you didn't enjoy about it. I would love to hear this, you know, anyone's points, discussions, whatever. And also, if you're new to Central Fiction, or if BlazBlue Central Fiction is your first fighting game, and you thought about these characters, please tell me, you know, your thoughts about them as well. So without further ado, I'll see you all next time. Peace out, everyone, and I hope everyone has a great day.